Oh, well, we'll see. Well, I think we're live, so we want to welcome you to another episode of AI Clubhouse. Ginger Bell here, Scott Schang here. Steve is traveling again, and so he might join us at an airport somewhere, but we will see what happens with that. And this is the first time that we're on StreamYard. So for those of you who are joining us, we do have some of you that registered. You can type in the chat, and if you are joining us, go ahead and type in the chat and let us know what questions you have. Scott and I, when we were in the green room, there's so many things to talk about with AI. So, I think probably it's like, let's start off with the conversation, Scott, about what you're doing, because so many times we have guests on and you don't get a chance to really share some of the things that you're doing. And I know you've doubled down on AI. You sold your other business and are focusing 100% on AI, living, eating, breathing, creating. And I always love listening to the projects because what you're doing is just so absolutely amazing. So first of all, I know you have a webinar coming up on Friday. And so we've promoted that. I'll send that promotion out again. So tell us about the webinar.
Yeah, the webinar is with a business coach and my mentor, Perry Marshall. Perry Marshall is a kind of eclectic business consultant, really, really smart, a lot of really high level conversations. And he did a definitive AI summit last year when AI was just released. He's really in front of this, and he's got some of the best thought leaders in the country. Actually, in the not even the country, in the world. He's got people coming from Europe in April to do a 3-day conference on AI, what it means for business. So we're doing a promotional webinar. It's gonna be a 1-hour conversation, kind of about the types of conversations we're gonna have about AI, the types of people that are gonna be there, how they're gonna be thinking about it, what they're talking about. So that's in April in Chicago. So on Friday, it's going to be a really interesting opportunity, I think, for a lot of people to get a different perspective on this conversation about this technology that maybe you're not having these conversations, but it should be really, really fascinating. And then my other business partner, Bob Regnerus, is going to be on the call also. And he is a big proponent of using this technology to create better in-person relationships, right? Everybody's thinking, oh, automation, technology, I don't have to do it. He's like, no. It's more important than ever that you're building face-to-face relationships. And here's how here's what you can't forget as you go down this technology rabbit hole where we all want to live in the Jetsons and have Rosie serving us breakfast tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we're a ways off from that. And I think, you bring up a very interesting conversation about, first of all, how do you use it? Second of all, this fear of, is it going to replace me? And it's not. It's another tool. It's just like the internet. And when the internet first came out and everyone said, oh my gosh, this is going to replace what we do for sales and we're not going to have jobs. And it's not the case at all. It's just another tool to be able to help you really increase what you're doing. And that's what ChatGPT does. That's what the AI tools do. We're seeing so much of that. As far as different tools to use to streamline your operations, and it's just a matter of leveraging it. So getting into those conversations, listening to other thought leaders, seeing what that looks like is so very important. So make sure, and I'll drop that in there, register for the webinar. And then the conference is live in April, and it's in Chicago, I know that. And so if you want to find that conference, where can they go to find that? I can tell you where they can go. I have it on the AI.
Okay, good. It's we'll be promoting it on the webinar on Friday, and I'll be sharing it. It's on my stuff, and I think it sounds like you have a link.
Yeah. So what I did is, I started the AI Beehive. I'm going to put it in the chat. It's aibeehive.com. And so that directory I started last year because I was getting so many questions from people saying, hey, what tool can I use to take a video and turn it into a blog post? And, what can I use for this? And so I said, okay, we need to have a place where people can go to find these tools. And so I started a directory. It's called AI Beehive. You can go there. There's a lot of different tools there. There's events there. So I have, especially the conferences like what Scott is talking about in Chicago. So, check those out. We have not had an AI conference yet in the mortgage or real estate industry. I think real estate probably doing some. I am going to be doing a workshop for realtors with the Dallas Realtor Association in April. I just confirmed that actually last night. And so we're just starting this. So if you're thinking or if you want to do something of a conference talking about AI, reach out to us, let us know. Obviously, Scott would be someone who, you could get to come and speak. I'm doing some speaking on it as well. So, think about those kind of things as far as being able to create those relationships. And that's really what it is, hey, we've got this great tool. Now let's figure out how can we leverage it to be able to work with referral partners, to be able to help them. And you mentioned last week, and I actually started using this idea with some of the topics that we're doing with our clients, and that is creating a GPT within ChatGPT that you can input property listing or an open house for a real estate agent, and then say, hey, I have a social media post for you, and maybe make a graphic and to promote it, and do a value add to where it's like, hey, let me help you promote this. I've created this. Can I post it on mine? Can you post it on yours? So what are some of the things, because you said you had created this for a client of yours for real estate.
Yeah, one well, I didn't it wasn't a listing necessarily, but what we are doing is creating GPTs that are like taking like repurposing content, amplifying content. So and I've got loan officers that I've helped build those GPTs, and then they're doing lunch and learns and giving that access to that private GPT to all of the agents that are involved. And he actually just did that a couple of weeks ago, and he said the agents were blown away.
Nice.
So it's, and I'm finding the same thing. Most people have kind of heard about it, and they kind of think that they know about it, but they're not really thinking about it in terms of business and marketing yet. It's not that. Oh, there we go. There's Frank.
Frank.
Did it work? Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
We can hear you.
Wow.
But
Cool.
we did build something like this. Frank had already built it, and then I brought my wrenches and tightened a couple of things on creating these blog posts for agents' listings. Right, that's what we were just talking about, Frank. Yeah.
Sorry to drop in late, but it's really cool. It's pretty neat. It's like, what do you want to do? Let's get started. What do you got? I got this. Tell me more. Okay, here you go. I was like, thanks. That post is already posted. That I can drop it into the. Can I drop it in the chat? They can see what it did.
Yeah, drop it into the
I'll
chat.
drop it. Yeah. I'm gonna get there.
Yeah, I design all of my GPTs. They basically interview you. So they extract all of the information out of you until it has enough information to do what it needs to be.
Nice. Well, and that's the thing too, when you create these GPTs, you can share them And so it's a matter of just sharing that link, and then the real estate agent can go ahead and use that. Are you
Okay,
posting?
so do I put this in the chat over here
Yeah,
on
just
this
put
thing?
it in put it in where the comments
There it is.
are. Okay. So
Yeah, and I dropped some things in there, but it created the article, and then I just plopped in some pictures and the video and did all that kind of stuff. But it made it really easy.
nice.
It really did. It was very cool.
So the realestatevibe.com. And so that's a website that you own then?
I made that blog just to it's a thing that I'm doing to, it's a value thing for my realtors, basically.
Right.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah, and it makes it really easy to
I love it.
It's super easy to whip these things out. It's not like going to be, I don't think it's going to be some kind of a vibrant, big blog that a bunch of people are going to subscribe to. It's more of a place to put content that can now be shared or advertised, jointly advertised, or whatever the case may be. So
very cool. And so the idea, so who have you shared this out with so far then? So you've made a blog post on it?
Yes. And then so I created a Facebook page as well, right, for the blog. So they're connected. And then I do have a Facebook ad going promoting the Facebook page itself, right? Just, hey, there's this page.
Right.
And so it's adding not subscribers, but followers to the page. So it's doing that. And it just got started. I mean, I literally put this together like last weekend or the weekend before. And so that's adding followers. So as I do drop content onto the Facebook page, some followers will see that content, right? But really, I'm creating the blog post, taking the blog post, sharing it onto the Facebook page, and then I can use that blog post in advertising, right? I can create an ad to boost that post or whatever I want to do there. So that's basically what I'm doing, if that makes sense. And then of course I split that with the realtor. Like I did an article on, well, like this one. This is an article on a listing itself.
Yeah.
I haven't done any paid advertising behind this one yet, but I've done a couple where I've created the article about the listing, right? And then said to the agent, hey, you want to do, hey, you throw $15, I'll throw $15. We'll get it in front of some people for 10 days. Like, yeah, let's do it. Why not? And we get a bunch of clicks on the article. People go to the article,
I love it.
So, whether or not anybody's engaged with the agent on that yet, I don't think so. I don't know. But, for them, it's something that they can show their sellers. It's something they can, hey, this is what I'm doing. It's an ad in that way. I'm helping them promote their listing, and we're sharing the cost. So there's no rest of BS. I've got it right on my Venmo, the address. You know what I mean? That it was that, the booster site.
I'm going to pull it up here. So this is in the link. And so this is what you've set up for the blog post.
Right.
And so I love this, the real estate vibe. And you got it. That's a great URL, my friend.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And vibe on it so they can subscribe. So then here you have a blog. And see, these are the things, people aren't doing blogs. And with ChatGPT, my gosh, there's no reason why you can't easily do a blog. And so
I tell you what, ChatGPT makes blogging a breeze, like just a breeze,
So going through this, you've got several different.
Well, you can click on that one, Sacramento Shines. Click on that one. So this is a different kind of a post. So this is a post that just talks about, and so with Ruby on steroids, with Scott's tool he built for me, I was able to direct Ruby to an article and basically say, I want to do an article around this, right? But make it our own words. I don't want to plagiarize anything, but make it our own words, but show it that it was an article showing the California cities that are supposed to shine in 2024. One of them was Sacramento. This is right by me. So I said, well, build this and make Sacramento kind of the highlight of it. You know what I mean? And so Ruby built it for me. But in the middle of that, you can see I dropped in a featured listing. So in the middle of this, it goes today's featured listing, right? And so then I was able to email my agent who that listing's attached to, Candace, I emailed her this morning, said, hey, I put your listing as a featured listing on my latest blog post on the Real Estate Vibe. Here's the link to it.
Nice.
Go ahead and share it. Like, share the link if you feel so inclined, because now the real estate agent can go, hey, well, whatever, they can share it.
Yeah, say, hey, we're featured on this, and they
Yeah.
can share it.
Yeah, and plus it's just they can share a story now. She can share a story that's a good story, right? For people in the Sacramento area or whatever. It's a good story. She can share, hey, there's interesting news about the Sacramento area. Check it out. So people can click in and look at the story, but in the middle of it, her listing's there. And so if somebody wants to click on it and, what's this listing? North Vacaville.
Which also goes to MoveTube.
Goes to MoveTube, right. Yep. And then what's coming soon is if somebody clicked that contact agent button, right there to say, hey, I'd like more property, that's going to drop into the Marketing Animals CRM, AI CRM.
Nice.
Okay. And AI is going to kick in and start talking to them. Sweet. Right. Start talking to them. So, yeah. And
that is just a simple thing. So how long do you think it took you to write this post?
Oh, from telling Ruby, this is what I want to talk about, to publishing it was probably about 18 minutes, something like that.
Very cool.
It's extremely fast. Ruby did all the work. I mean, I didn't have to.
It's been more than 18 minutes staring at blank pages.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Ruby did all the work.
Yeah.
I just went copy paste. I dropped in the featured listing, which was easy. That's just, a little copy paste. And that was it. I'm done.
Yeah. So let's talk about Ruby. When you say Ruby did this, and this is what Scott has set up. So talk to me about Ruby.
Ruby is I did Ruby first. I created my own Ruby, and she was my blog helper. And I when I created her as a GPT, I said, you're going to be helping me with this blog.
Right.
Here's some standards, right, that I'm kind of looking at that I kind of want. But Scott knows how to do it so much better. And so when I said, yeah, this is basically what I'm doing, he just, I don't know if you looked into my Ruby. Did you look into my Ruby, or did you just do your own?
I did. I actually used your prompt and I expanded on it.
Okay. So he was able to get in and figure out what I told Ruby that she should be doing, but then he fixed it up and expanded on it, made it more detailed. So now we've got Ruby on steroids as the new one, right? Yeah. I'm almost thinking on changing the blog to that, Ruby on steroids. I think I kind of want to do that. And then, because it's Ruby, it's her. She's writing the article. She's doing all the stuff. I'm just facilitating it, But yeah, so Scott made it just a lot easier for me to get that process done. It wasn't that difficult in the beginning, but now he made it even stupid easier. So now it takes even less time to get it done. And I knock one of these out every single day. This thing's only been up for a couple of weeks. You go back, there's a ton of blog posts on there already. I crank out the content. Like, it's easy. I do it first thing in the morning.
Yeah. And if you don't want to do it, you can hire a VA to do it.
That's true. You can.
But it is so simple that it's something, if you put it into your day, that, that's the first thing you're going to do. And you can find different articles. So this one, you said, Sacramento shines. Mm-hmm. And so, pulling different articles, you can pull so many different things if you're in a particular area, and especially working with real estate agents, that if they do have a listing, you could pull that listing, write something around that area, and then put that listing in there, like what you did, that becomes very hyper local. And then I love the fact that you did the Facebook page, because so many times our Facebook pages, we have to have them for business, but nobody really goes there and they don't really do a lot. But when you make it that hyper local to where you're talking about, not you, you're not talking about, just mortgages or anything like that. You're talking about an area, and that's what people search for. People are looking for that information. And so you're making that content so much more likable and followable, and things you can post more often. And then also, if you're boosting those, then people are also more likely to look for that information.
Yeah, they'll see it.
Mortgage.
Yeah, they'll see it.
Well, and what I love about this is you're playing both your long game and your short game at the same time. So while you're taking advantage of it and you're marketing it for your short game, and your short game is just, hey, real estate agent partner, look at how I just did this great thing for you, right? So there's that part. But every time you publish, your site is becoming an authority on living in that community.
Yeah.
And so anytime anybody wants to know where the best places to live in Central California, or what are the best neighborhoods, or can I get a 3-acre, can I buy 3 acres in California? Your website is going to start coming up because it's so easy.
Yeah.
You can just create brute force content. I mean, that's what I attribute to the success of my business is I wrote 2 to 3 articles a week for 10 straight years.
Yeah, there you go.
It was hundreds and hundreds of articles.
It's all that text that's findable. You know what I mean? That brings that stuff up. Yeah.
Because you never know how they're going to search for the solution to their problem. Right.
Yeah.
So when you have all that, the overwhelming majority of my traffic to my website was on individual articles. It wasn't homepage.
Right. It's the article. Yeah.
Right. They type in a question and this article talks about it. And so they get on that article and then they see the rest of the website.
Yeah. Then they see the other posts and they go, oh, I might subscribe to this thing, and yeah. Anyway, that's how I've been kind of using it. And it's been a hit with my real estate part, it's pretty easy to go, hey, that's a cool listing. You want me to do an article like this? Check it out. Send them the link. I'm like, yeah, sure. That sounds good.
Right. That's right.
So, and it's just brand new. So I'm 2 weeks in. So
yeah. So what are you hosting the blog on?
That's GoDaddy. So GoDaddy is, you can build a website or a blog in GoDaddy very quickly. It's very intuitive, easy to learn, but they're not that good. I mean, this blog sucks. It's like, there's not even a search bar, like where I could search for something. It's stupid, right? Like the blog, the scrolly thing is terrible. Like the way it's GoDaddy can give you an extremely fast, but very cheap and not very practical website. For me, I just went with it because I had the idea. I wanted to implement it that second. I mean, that blog went from idea to it exists with its first couple of articles in a few hours. Like I had it done in a few hours because you can buy the domain.
Yeah.
And then just say, let's build the website. You go to the builder, you just start answering some questions and just start poking around. And the next thing you know, and then you hit publish. It's there. It's mapped to the domain. It's live, So, but I think I'm going to move it. I think I'm going to move it to something more practical, but God, I just don't want to go down the WordPress path again. I'm sick to death of WordPress.
I've worked in WordPress for a long time. I have too. I'm the same way. WordPress, honestly, I think WordPress opens up a can of worms for so many different things.
But there's so hard
out there. I mean,
what about Wix? I have Wix. I have 2 Wix websites, and I don't know if they do a blogs or not. So I just pinged my overseas VA who helped me build those websites in Wix. I just pinged her and said, does Wix do blogs? Because it needs to be a more realistic blog. Like, here's the featured post. Here's others I can search. There's categories. It needs to be like a real blog is what it needs to be.
So
the GoDaddy one sucks.
And I know we did.
I have to go, Ginger.
Okay, bye, Scott.
You got to go.
Next week.
See you, Scott.
See ya.
Thanks, brother, for everything.
Yep.
So I had worked on a project with Carl, and it was for an email newsletter, but it was built in with the email newsletter that was also a blog. And so you do the blog, but then they can also subscribe to get the email. So you're building out your email list at the same time you're building your blog.
Yeah. That's a staple feature that needs to be there. If someone subscribes to the blog, now you're building an email list that every time you make a post, they get the post, right? So it does that. GoDaddy does that, but it's a terrible email that comes out. It's not that good. But.
No, this one is built for it. I'll have to.
What was the platform?
So it's called Beehive, and it's
Beehive with just HIV.
Yeah, it's
not
BEHAIIV, and
HIIV.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at that. I know Tristan Ahumada uses that with Lab Code Agents in the Brilliant Tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he uses that. I saw that, and his stuff comes across looking very nice. Like the emails that get sent out are
Yeah.
very nice looking.
Yeah, and the
You know?
nice thing with that too is so Beehive, and this is kind of off the conversation as far as AI, but if you're looking at using AI to build a blog post that's going to go onto Facebook and all these other things too, why not use it to build an email list at the same time?
Of course.
So
Yeah.
how can you leverage all those things? So I would look at Beehive, Beehiiv, and like I said, I worked on with Carl on a project, and we had used that. And it did have the blog. So basically it
And
could fit
it
into
looks nice. The blog looks, is it a functional blog? Like, I want to search something. Like, do you have anything in Sacramento? And then Sacramento pops up, or, I mean, like.
And there's different things you can definitely do with it. And we
Look
can
at
open
it.
that for the next, conversation. So if you're looking at, here, I'll just pull it up over here. So this is it, but it's got, and so you have the newsletter, it has a website, a newsletter, and then the newsletter ends up having the website. And so I'm trying to see if they've got,
And the blog.
yeah,
It
everything
needs to be a blog.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's not showing us here.
How much is it? Hit that pricing button. How much is this thing?
So I think it's $99 topped a month.
See, that's not bad. If it's got that kind of power and it can build an email list and you can create a decent looking blog out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not bad.
So this is,
Oh, well, look, for $42 a month, up to 10,000 subscribers. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
And I could upgrade later.
Yeah. So
well, look at that. $0 a month up to 2,500. Jeez Louise.
Yeah. So I'm going to see if it can, I'm trying to share. Oh, there you go. And so it goes through all of that. I think they had some examples. So you can play around on it, but I think that they had some examples here to where you could have that. Let's see if they've got a spotlight. No, that's just your spotlight. So this is kind of off topic, but just, in looking what you're looking at, then I would definitely explore that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily off topic. We use AI to, help us in other endeavors. And, I 100% use AI. If it wasn't for AI, I would not have embarked on this blog.
No, because you would have to write it, you have to research it. It's like I have to think about it, and it's like
forget it. Yeah, forget it.
AI makes what was not possible in the past possible, and you can do it in, I mean, literally probably 30 to 45 minutes a day tops that you're spending on it. Yeah. And now you have a reason to call a real estate agent and say, hey,
right.
I have this listing, and you link it in with your MoveTube, and you link it in with the marketing animals email. And so it's putting all those things together, and that's what AI does. It just streamlines those operations. So I love it.
It surely does. It really does. It's a godsend. Yeah, it's great.
And then I need to get on with you and set up your GPT. So we had talked about that the other day, setting up your agents. I just did a webinar.
Yeah, where they talk to each other.
Well, yes. Yeah, just a lot of different things. So,
okay, whenever you're ready, I'm lucky.
We will do that too. So we're at the top of the hour, so I'm going to say adios. And
sorry, I got here late.
No, we're happy to. I'm glad you hopped on. We always love having you here. And
well, we had the new way, which honestly was no problem.
So. Yeah. Well, and we're on StreamYard now. So for those of you who are watching us streaming, we are streaming on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. So we are having a reach that is more than just the Facebook group and our Zoom. So we will have a link for next week. So it's a new link every week. But if you get onto our Facebook group, which is at AI Clubhouse, you will always watch us there. And so make sure and join us there. Next week, we have Ken Perry on. And Ken is with the Knowledge Coop. And Ken is going to be sharing how they have a GPT that has all of the guidelines in, and how you can go, and if you have a question about, hey, what loan will do this, it will go through the guidelines and it'll tell you exactly what the LTV is, what the requirements are. So instead of having to read through guidelines or call the underwriter, you can actually go into this GPT. So I'm excited about that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, all kinds of cool things.
I want it.
I want it. Okay, great. Well, you guys have a good week, and we will see you next week. Thanks, Frank.
Awesome. See you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, adios.